This is your daily market recap for Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. Let's go.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
XP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. There's your daily market recap for Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. Hopefully you are doing well. Another great day in the market. Love trading OPEX. If you don't like it, then you might want to disappear. It can be super choppy, headline driven. It's never as easy as it seems. Sometimes you get what I would consider big moves up and down each way. Sometimes you just get straight up. You know, the goal is to knock the VIX down. You know, CHOPEX, VIX termination week. We'll see what happens. Now there's some headlines growing about stuff going on in Europe. I don't know what to say. I don't know for sure what is going on, but here's the thing. It seems very obvious that the volatility is trying to pick up, but we don't know what's going on. And I've said this 1,000 times. Trade carefully in tech. I personally am long commodities and Netflix. That's the only stuff I got. I am not short anything other than NDAQ, which happened to be red today, which is good. Again, I've talked about the Coinbase of the NASDAQ. When the NASDAQ loses all of its momentum and volume, the NDAQ will get absolutely slaughtered. So, long story short, be safe, be thoughtful. If you're newer to the channel, please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell. I do a lot of these live chats. If you want to get into the Discord room, I want to hear people's stories, drop me a DM. On Twitter, I'm always posting what I'm up to. Feel free to let me know what you want coming into it, because this Discord room isn't meant for everybody. It really isn't. It's not meant for people just to come in here and turn into another Stock Twits or I'm Jim Cramer and I'm just going to tell you what to do. No, the goal is for me to help you. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. My goal is to help you get better, learn from mistakes that I've made, learn from mistakes that my friends have made, give you some insights about how the markets work, because a lot of people think trading is random, and it's not. Start off with what we always start off with: crap coin, Bitcoin. I mean, again, I'm not a crypto person at this point because I don't trust it. I don't know who wins the battle. But as we get into this, I mean, you have to trade it like any other asset. Like, people are like, oh, but you love gold. Yep, I do. But I also don't just sit there and hold it like a, you know what? Like, I trade it. And there's been years where it's crap. And there's been months where it's crap. And you just trade it. And we've talked about Bitcoin being dead money. Now it's making lower lows, lower highs. Broke over the trend line, now back testing it. It's really simple. It has to hold. It just has to hold. Now, I don't know where the bottom is. And I don't know anything about Bitcoin long term. I tell people, like, I think I know. I hope it's digital gold, because if it is, then it has value. Again, there's a finite resource amount, but my biggest concern is always what? Fed coin. What are the Feds going to do? You know, you ever watch what was it, Mr. Evil? No, Dr. Evil? No, what was that movie with what's his name? eCoin. Why can't I remember all of a sudden? But anyway, the Feds are going to try to come up with their own oil, or no, their own coin. Sorry, digital currency. It seems very logical, and that's what they're going to try to push. Now, when we get there, I don't know. eCoin, Mr. Robot, not Mr. Evil. Ever seen that show, Mr. Robot? Interesting show. Anyway, oil. We talked about buying it on the 85, 86, 84. I mean, I don't know. Whatever floats your boat over the last couple days. You got rewarded today. If you are trading, because you're a trader and it's OPEX, congratulations. You took all of your money off. Be ready. I mean, you probably could have bought the dip. I would just continue to trade it. I personally think that you should have a core of oil right now. All the headlines do not lead to lower oil prices. The SPR refill, post-election, Blue Party winning the Senate, Blue Party president, nothing seems looking good for oil prices to drop. Hence why we believe, and we say it again, these Feds will get put into a bind when oil rises and commodities rise again, because they really want to what? Lower rates. They really want to be what? Support of the market, but they can't. Inflation is just like it's like the movie Hellraiser, you know, once you like start that phase with the the box that they have, it just, everyone gets murdered until like it ends. And they're trying to accelerate this process by killing off as many people as they want. So yeah, and the weather, I guess. I mean, we'll talk about it. I'm not too concerned about the weather. I made a joke this morning, like, hey, it's snowing in Denver. Hey. Awesome. Gas should be going higher. We talked about natural gas making higher lows. People, I mean, I don't know how you want, I mean, I guess we should redraw it like this. It doesn't look terrible. This action here is very interesting. This indecision candle with a long wick on the NG. It may have been some contract roll. I can't remember. I haven't been paying attention closely to the futures because I trade during the market hours. Just remember, the only futures contract I'm worried about is the VIX rollover, which ideally is sooner than later. I think it's tomorrow. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks interesting. It just does. I mean, if you like low risk, high reward, nat gas is your dog, but you got to trade it. You definitely got to trade it. Because if this is a broadening pattern, right? Like broadening out, if this is the bottom end of the range, I mean, it could go back to the top. You do the math, right? You do the math. I don't know for sure. But I like the risk reward in commodities. It just does seems very logical. The dollar. Well, what do we talk about? The dollar, what? Nobody believed us 2 weeks ago when we said, watch up here. I was like, watch this action. New money, new month, channel high, indecision, decent volume. I was like, if it does not confirm, remember we talk about sometimes dojis. Need more information. To confirm. Kapow. Now the dollar, I mean, it's this action here looks a little supportive. I mean, you got to call it what it is. So, Ken, if you're looking at this, I mean, it could be, again, I hate saying novice gaps in the dollar because there's tons of gaps in the dollar, the UUP. I would just be on red alert. I still think at some point you get this channel, you get this range and somewhere in the low 20s, 8s. Because once this broke, it was like, see ya. Upside probably near 28.92, downside maybe to 28, and that's how this could get. This is why blah blah blah. This is why I'm being very cautious, being bearish. Does this make sense? Because if the dollar is going down, like, take notes. I always say please take notes. Watch the dollar. If the dollar's heading down, is the market going to implode? I don't know. Now, again, the market can go down and the dollar go down. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibilities. But in this current situation, probably not. TLT. Congratulations. I mean, you're catching some bids here. We talked about the first low hitting the 20-day, maybe a higher low. Now we said what? It should hold the 20-day. Well, you're making higher highs. I mean, there's some decent volume down here. I mean, I would not be shorting bonds, but this is where it gets funky, right? Like, what happens when inflation starts creeping up? What's the upside on the TLT? I mean, you're going to have to trade it. Like, I have more faith in the upside and probably some commodity names if something goes on than the TLT, but we don't know. I mean, look at what TLT did last year during all the junk with Ukraine. Like, it popped and it was just like, just kept going lower. So, what's your upside? Be careful. Just be careful. The VIX, cool, contract rollover. Maybe some people are buying it, but this is not good for bears. Like, you don't ever want to see the VIX spike like that and then just come right back. Because now you've reloaded to go lower potentially, or just go nowhere. Again, Jesus, come on, draw, you freaking idiot. If I am a bear, the VIX is bothering me. I don't like that action. I would hate that because it's like, oh man, we popped on a headline. Crap. Remember we talked about headlines are for suckers? Well, is it sustainable? If it's not, Dad said we probably are going to fill the 20 gap. Nobody believed us when we told you the fake breakout in the market and breakdown, and then the VIX didn't confirm. Well, today's action just confirms more ChopX. I'm sorry. I mean, you can see higher lows. But here's the thing. What sectors are you in? And you better be careful. That's the key here. What sectors are you in? Because I personally said you have to be careful. The only stock I trust in the tech sector that I'm trading is Netflix. And it has proven to be correct. And that's all I'm going to say. The SPY. Everybody's calling for the top. And it's like, man, I think we got more room. Now, again, 400 area. We called that. Remember, nobody expected 400. Well, you got 402. Is today the top? Chop top. Top top. We'll see. Time will tell. Personally, I mean, the 200 days really come into play. And if you really want to blow out the bears, let me just remove this real quick because you'll see exactly where I think the maximum upside is. It's probably going to come into this zone. Auto zone. I don't know why I keep everything, that damn commercial. That would be, to me, the best. And this, honestly, the channel high, like, don't forget. I mean, this is where people are like, I'm short. And it's like, we're not there yet. But if it doesn't get there, you're like, oh, you're the worst. And it's like, well, we've traded around the channel. And sometimes the best trades are when you get out of the channel. But here's the thing. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to repeat this nicely. If you miss it or late, the first dip should get bought. Then it's game over. First dip gets bought, you got lower prices, right? First dip gets bought, lower prices. Another dip gets bought, goes lower. First quick dip, bounces, goes lower. If you are really that worried about the down move, take that out of your brain. Take that out of your brain. Think about it. Like if the sentiment rolls over, because let's go through why we are bullish. Not because of the economy, because of the market's out of position. Huge cash on the sideline, waiting for dips and reentries, right? If the market doesn't crash in October, you usually have a solid November, right? You're in the Fed sweet spot with the PPI and the CPI coming down. Even though we know it's temporary, doesn't matter. It's right now. We have to trade what's right now. Can't trade the future yet, right? What else, right? Oil, gas, stable. The worst potentially behind us, right? GDP was 2% last quarter, or the last guesstimate. I mean, it's coming up. Is it this week or next week? I guess GDP is next week. I mean, it's hard to be, and this is the thing, it's hard to be bullish, but if everybody's bearish, what does the market do? The market climbs the wall of what? Can someone answer that question? The market climbs the wall of what? If you don't know this, always be surprised. Like, don't be surprised by the answer. It always, worry. Thank you, Shannon. It always climbs the wall of worry. And as soon as it seems obvious the market's going higher, that's when you start having to trigger your brain to go, now I probably need a short. I gotta probably short. Because now you're going against the grain. The market makers have planted. They've planted the seed, have they not? They have planted the seed for what? For people to continue to buy so they sell on the backside. Think like the operators. Remember, they typically sell and unload on the downside of the trend. You know, they'll get their positions square and then they unload because they want it to go lower. Well, they need people to continue to buy on the backside. You can't mark it up and say, but you can't mark it up and just let it completely unwind until what? The sentiment's there. It has to be buyers. There has to be a wall of buyers ready to be there. And the best way to do is to advertise higher prices. Sorry to rant on that again, but I don't know. QQQ. Talked about even the trash floats. Here you're getting into the 290s. Right? All right, keep an eye on this. I don't think you have much upside beyond here. I mean, channel highs, right? Slightly above the channel highs. Did that last time. Notice how this channel was important multiple occasions. All right, write in your notes. Like QQQ. 295 plus, maybe? We'll see. IWM, we talked about it. It's going to probably lag once it starts peaking. Well, making a new high today doesn't necessarily mean it's peaked yet, right? We talked about IWM needs to lead. Remember, it didn't make new bottoms from June. No new bottom, right? No new bottom. Thanks for tipping the teacher, y'all. I appreciate that. again, even if it's $10, that's cool, man. I appreciate it. Go get a gummy on you. I'll let you know. Anyway, back to what I was saying. People always laugh like, "Oh, you trade for the donation." I'm like, if I traded for the donations, no. Again, trade. If you actually know how to trade, it pays for itself. There's not a lot of people that actually do. Oh, you could be doing it. Nope. I am giving back. The more I give back, the more I help people I help, the better the mojo I get. Give to get in this universe, it seems. People like to just take. I don't know. IWM, sorry, distraction. I just appreciate everybody who does donate because it means a lot. It's good energy, especially if you're learning a ton. Man, don't lose $1 million like I have over time trading multiple millions up and down because you're an idiot. Learn from our mistakes. Let's just see. I know we see a doji, right? I know we see a doji. Let's see what happens tomorrow. Because the same thing. I mean, this might be the topping formation. Hence why I'm saying, like, if you want to layer in short, the evidence now is starting to flow. But we don't know the top and the time. Because right now, if the market holds up this week, do not be surprised if it holds up into Thanksgiving. Unless something comes out of nowhere. Gold, told you. 165, 166, you probably need to take your profits. Here you go. I'm sorry, 164 to 166. Who else told you to buy gold this day? Nobody. Said post-Feds, I was like, something is going on. Something's fishy. And then it was like, it went below the lows and it closed over the highs. Something's not right here. Something's not right here. Looks like a trap. And zing, 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 zing. That's a pretty big move here. Now, again, if you want to hold on to it, be my guest. Trade around your core position. I still have a little bit of gold left. I don't have a ton. I'm about a quarter of my core. Because I love December buybacks of gold. Eric, you're here. You know. December is my jam. It's our jam. I'll consider it our jam because you've been around long enough to like just literally wait for December. I could show you again, but do yourself a favor. Look at the seasonality of gold. December is glorious. Silver. Now, what are we talking about is just holding up as gold retested the lows? FMOC, yeah. Yep, exactly. Yep, FOMC days in December. Great for gold. That might be the note to self. What is the FOMC day in December? It's usually mid-December. It's a Wednesday of mid-December. Advanced Auto just reported that. Whatever. I'll think about that later. But here you go. I mean, silver's upside. I don't think you're going to get over 2070. But we don't know. You got to trade this stuff. I mean, it's hard to not trade it. Everyone's like, that's the bottom. I'm like, all right. If you believe the market is going to get absolutely, thank you, December 13th. If you think the market is absolutely going to get slaughtered and the VIX hits a 50, 60 handle at some point and the market bottoms and capitulates, I'm telling you now, they throw the baby out with the bathwater. And silver is a big baby. It will get thrashed. So even with the miners. Jay Solstice talking about shorting up here. I dig it. I mean, upside maybe 36. Either way, too fast, too furious. I think there's a tradable short. But be aware. December 14th. Okay. 13th, 14th. It's probably a 2-day meeting as always. Yeah. I mean, think about what's going on here. We like this long term. Again, I mean, I like the miners for the long term. Juniors. Especially junior. Oh, CPIs. Yeah, it's going to be a fun week in December. I mean, we are at the range lows, but here again, here's where the VIX smashes the GDXJ. Just keep that in mind when the baby gets thrown out of the bathwater. If you own it and you want to hold it endlessly to the moon, yeah, the best time to buy physical gold and silver? No, the best time to buy physical is whenever the premiums come down. Just try to find as much as you can. I prefer, as I always tell you, I prefer rare coins. I hate bullion. It's so boring. I want rare. I want coins that are 15,000 mintage or less, 25,000 or less. Buy bullion. I mean, it's not going to appreciate in the big bull market that come in metals. Remember, people are going to pay a premium for something rare. I like art. We'll talk about it. It's a whole nother, probably do a whole video on that. People disagree. I don't care. I've seen those premiums in those exotic coins that I own only continue to creep up, even though silver has gone nowhere. While silver eagles barely move. I know they're up a little bit, but not. They're not 50, 70, 80, $105. Where's Lupus at? Remember those coins we bought? Selling for 105. Bought them for 55. This is just gonna be hard. I don't know what to tell people. Let it be. GDX. Yep. Thank you. Thanks, Lupus. We buy rare. And think about it. Like, when you buy real estate, do you buy the trash end, or do you buy the best real estate in the best markets with the most upside appreciation? That's what you look for. It's the same thing in metals and coins. I hate buying bullion. So stupid. Has no upside other than the current price. No one will ever be like, oh, I have to get that gold buffalo. What year will maybe depend on the mintage. GDX, same thing. Stuck up here. I don't know what to say. I mean, if you own this stuff, you have got to have your head on a swivel. I'm just going to wrap through this because it's hard. Here's AG. You would think AG would be making new highs. No, it made an outside reversal day. Keep that in mind. So, J Solstice, this is looking better for you, my friend. As I'm looking through this, yeah, pop, flop, AEM. Newmont, wow, down. Whoa. Yep, pop, come back down. I mean, got to get under 45.66. PAAS. My man Mohamed asking me about this thing. I'm like, man, I don't know, bro. This thing is just trash. I know they got volume down here, but they probably got to print more shares to pay devalue to pay for this deal with Yamana Gold. Trash. AMD double super duper probation. Why not? I love that movie, if you know what I'm talking about. Double secret probation here. This is hard. They get 2 buddy pass upgrades. It's still making higher highs. I know it's red, but red doesn't necessarily mean bearish, right? Like, you can have red days in uptrends, right? It doesn't why are you moving this? It doesn't mean it can't go slightly higher. I like that it's under the 100-day because the 100-day has been an issue. But it's hard. Again, some people shorted SMH today. I get it. I absolutely get it. But NVIDIA has earnings tomorrow. NVIDIA has been absolutely curb stomped. American History X, curb stomped, right? 350 to $1.10. Here you go. Maybe talk about things that I would like to see happen. Pray NVIDIA gaps up after earnings. Pray it gaps up. Pray there is a novice gap. Write this down. Novice gap NVIDIA. Pray this gaps up, because then what? Now the market makers are a liquidity-driven mechanism. If this thing gaps up, how many gaps are? I mean, there's probably too many. But point being is, I mean, we talked about the 3 gap trap. 1, 2. I mean, that's a little baby gap. We don't shop at the baby gap. I mean, I'm telling you right now, because if this thing pops, I got a bunch of little gaps. If this thing pops, I'm telling you right now, like, it's going to be the news of the day. It's going to draw the liquidity. It's going to draw chasers. That's when the market makers will absolutely just all over it. And that will be more likely the top. Do you get that? So SMH, here we go. Here we go, yo. Here we go. So watch this. What's the scenario? 200-day. I understand why people are like, I'm shorting day. Got it. Cool. Awesome sauce. Right? Makes sense. Right? Yep, that's right. Okay. Here you are. You're in the fibs. 1 gap. 2 gap. Maybe the 3 gap trap. Sometimes it can be 3, 4 gaps. 4 gaps. I mean, very rarely. But yeah, I mean, I see 3 decent sized gaps. But what if the SMH just all it does is what? Makes a slightly higher high? Maybe it hits like a 230 round number? We don't know. I'm telling you now, though, you want a liquidity-driven news event to trigger tops and bottoms. Do y'all understand this? Is this clear as day? Like, that's the best stuff, because then the market makers have unlimited liquidity to load into. Think about how, just as simple as recently with Meta, laying off jobs, laying off workers, laying people off. They use that liquidity to cover their shorts. And what happened? It popped afterwards. Because you had endless people dumping and going, I give up. Well, they've been shorting the absolute dog crap out of that stock. Right? And unloading. Wait for the news event. I'm putting my, I don't know what it's going to be. And you want it to be bullish. I'm telling you, to market top. You don't want the SMH topping on a trigger of war that doesn't really turn into war. Cold War headlines, not really going to, it doesn't get, it doesn't get people buying. Adobe said this, probably getting up into the 100 day. Let's just roll through them. Apple, congrats if you traded this. We talked about the floor. I mean, we give the levels. I mean, I don't have to take every trade, neither does anyone else. But if you saw this, congrats. Probably back up to the 200 day, maybe back in the 150s. This would make sense. Amazon, wow, this got up to 103 today. Still stuck, 20 day. Like Livermore said, when a friend told him about the news event to unload all of his stuff, that turned out to be the lucky as people thought he orchestrated it. Yes, thank you, Drew. All right. It is not an orchestrated event that somehow I am predicting. No, you are now aware of this, of like coordinated move. Get the news to be bullish. Get them to pump some stupid headline. That doesn't matter. And NVIDIA will be 70% off the high, and people will be like, oh, it's the time to buy. Sorry. Amazon, 20 day, talked about this thing being a turd. I mean, it's probably going to be stuck here. I mean, if you think the market's going lower, then it probably has little upside. Do you want to short it? I can see that. CRM, here you go, 100 day. Kind of trading around. Let me go back to Amazon because that gets really interesting, actually. How much more downside could it? I mean, if you look at the monthly, it's yeah. I think you can short tech. I mean, pick SMH or whatever QQQ. Here you go. Goog. Hit the channel lows. We talked about that's a pretty solid trade. 83 up to 100. Probably max upside 105. Meta. Again, we're laying people off. Meta sucks. What did the market makers do? Covered their shorts. Let it run. And then they'll unload at some point. Now where? Good question. I don't know. Where the market's at, how much upside does Meta have at this point? Maybe 120, 125. I don't know. I don't trust that. Microsoft. Yeah. This choppy. This one goes on your short list though, because this thing is way overpriced. I mean, again, look at the monthly. Coming down the mountain when she comes. It's actually coming around, but here you go. It's got downside. Put that in your short pipe and smoke it. NDAQ, here you go. Finally. Nah, not really that excited, but this is why you bought March puts and you short and you get patient. I told you the NDAQ is the Coinbase or the NASDAQ stocks. When all the momentum's lost, this is going to be trash. I am now looking to add more to short on this. This company is trash. When all the volume comes out of tech, ain't nobody going to be trying to list on the NDAQ. Unless they try to solicit oil names and aluminum and gold, and so, which they're not. MicroStrategy. Erroneous. I don't know. Moving on. I just don't know. Netflix. Now, this makes me smile. Because we talked about big base. How do you like it a base? Yeah. We talked about the gap up. Bought a little bit before earnings. He said, hey, if this is a gap and go, it's going to go. Got up at 304. Sold it. As it was rising. Remember that? Sell. Layer out. Talked about buying it at 255. You had a couple days down here. Nobody wanted it. D-Max did. Hello. As it raises. I've been selling the calls that I bought and buying different calls and selling and trading. It's awesome. Awesome sauce. Again, you talk about paying yourself. Let's just say Netflix covering the bills. And more. And, I mean, again, great month already. I mean, crappy September, early October. Great November. No nut November. No, more like big nuts. Big nuts November. So keep it up. What's the upside? You're getting closer. And I'd like to say you get into that upside target zone, but we're going to need a little more market pop. It's getting a lot of upgrades, right? Coming off the lows. Please be careful. I don't know if that's a novice gap exhaustion. Again, thank you for tipping the teacher. Y'all are the shit. It makes me want to help you more because I know I'm going to be tipping y'all one day, hopefully, giving me some awesome trades. Just chill. Let it play out. If you own 100% of this position, you are gambling. Roblox. That's all I can say. I think they get bought out at some point, but this is just an ugly chart. Gap down on earnings, now rallying back. Not ideal. Tesla, everyone wants to trade it. Be careful. It's just kind of dead. We talked about once you got below the 205 and closed below it significantly, dead money. Elon ain't buying. Why are we? Who's we? Not me. No. Letter X. Wrap this up. Talked about the 200-day when it was bouncing around here. This is a big basing pattern. Steel will be a winner in the future. Near term could be a little tired. Again, if the market tops, bye-bye X. It ain't going to hold up. If war comes, hello X, you might hold up. Just keep that in mind. It's going to be choppy, sloppy. That's why I'm telling y'all, trade around your positions. You'll thank me. If you're not, who is not trading around their positions? Because if you're not trading around positions, say something in there and tell me how you're doing. The people who are trading around their positions, I love to hear if you're listening on the beginner room or on the chat, how much better you're doing trading around your positions. How much, again, this isn't a bull market. Who said buy and hold, short and hold, long and hold? No. Arrow, copper holding up. I mean, this is interesting because when you get a big red and you fill it back in 3 days slowly, if you hold that, maybe it's got a little juice to the 14s. I'd really want some feedback. Let me know if you guys are doing it big. Again, as I think a lot of people who are trading are absolutely killing it. I mean, I know I am, and I'm not even trading as aggressively as possibly I should. CCJ, we talked about this level being important. It backed up. Now, just trading. We like this long term, but we want to see it get thrashed. We want to see it get penalized because of the Westinghouse deal, right? Been trading A and CF, making more money that way. Yep, absolutely. Doing great trading around. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I'm just amazed. Like some people are like, oh, I'm struggling here. I'm like, well, because you're buying and holding. This isn't a buy and hold market, especially ChopX. This is hard, CCJ. But you clearly see there's an old trend line here, the 100, 200-day. Remember, think about there's more walls ahead. It's going to need more momentum to break through. So it's just leave it alone. Did I miss Nucor? Probably did. Don't let me forget that. Talked about coming up into this range. If it bases here, not necessarily bearish. Just watch what happens. If the market turns, though, this could turn. I like this way better than U.S. Steel. Less shares, it moves. It's just a more fun stock. Speaking of fun, CF, let's get to it. Holy crap. The same headline over and over and over. If you were trading this between the 102, 103, 105 to 107 to 110 range, absolutely good. Novice gap, NVIDIA. Yeah, if it gaps up on earnings, please short it. I would think that's the play. Could be 3-day rule max, but I mean, I think a week later you'll be fine. Trading stock. Look to the left. High and tight. I don't know if this thing's about to absolutely go bonkers or it's about to flop. But guess what? I don't know how many people are taking dollars out of this stock daily for feels like months. Feels like every day. Buy some, sell low. Buy some low, sell some high. Trade around it. Get excited. Stop out on your trail stop it. Sorry. Well, guess what? You bought it at the 50-day. Bought it at the 50-day. You bought it below the 50-day. You bought it at the 50-day. Every time. Unreal. And people are like, but weren't you buying a little higher? I'm like, yeah, because at some point, it doesn't always go to the 50-day. But it seems to be like the magic tractor being zing. Now what? Going forward? Trade it. Trade it. It has a building pressure potential. If you have higher lows and higher highs, yeah, $2 and $4 like every day. And if you're trading options, trading 10 options, you're pulling $1, $2, $3, $4 a day. you can see why, again, maybe this video should be sponsored by CF, because it's also been paying the bills. Awesome stock. Awesome. Mosaic. Not as exciting, but the same thing. Basing. I don't know. Nah. NTR. Why did I buy more CF heavy today? Yeah, it just seems in the channel. Agree, Joe. Because NTR was holding up like a boss. It didn't flop. Now, it did pull back to the 8-day, but it held up really well after CF dropped. I don't know if y'all noticed, like, NTR, who was in the Discord room? I said now again, I didn't wager another cat on this bet, but I said, if NTR holds up, I would not be surprised if CF gets over 105, maybe 107. What was the close? 106.91. Damn it, Dan, you're terrible. NTR holding up. 20-day is the key for NTR. NTR. That's the goal. Like, watch that. Because if it gets over the 20-day, CF starts going, it's all going. UAN's another one of these ag names. Watching it today, I was like, that doesn't look bearish. Okay, yeah, okay. It's kind of in this wedgie, going higher, maybe. Aaron, 49.99 was the high today. We talked about the 50 level. If you're trading around it, buy the dip. You're welcome. Man, big moves percentage-wise, option-wise. Man, again, pulling money out of the market. How fun is this? If you are not paying yourself as you are trading and you're just growing a bigger gambling account, I don't want to see your email in a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year with the trail of tears like, I grew up this monster account and I never paid myself and I'm back where I started. I made one bad mistake and it was the market's fault. Nope, that's what happens. Oh, yeah. I don't know why that's a rant, but because I've been there. Saw that on the NTR, led me to buy back. Yep, perfect, Joe. You saw the same thing? I said that in the Discord. I'm like, watch NTR. If it holds up, that ain't bearish. XBI making new highs, kind of holding the 100-day. I mean, obviously the headlines. This one kicked me out. I really thought we'd see the 75, 76. Just trade it. No, it's popping up. That closed right where it needed to. How funny is that? It's hard to say. Financials. But Dan, I want to short the market. Okay. You can't short the market till the financials crack. At this point, I said I think there's a broadening pattern here. You see it at the bottom. Why wouldn't we do it at the top? Right? Okay. Mr. Hanky. This gets interesting. I mean, we're close. Right? I mean, we're close. But XLF, I mean, put 36 alarm on. Because every time it seems to get there, it backs off. This could be a multi-day event. Just warning you now. Morgan Stanley. Holding up. High and tight, we'll see. Coming into the resistance zone. I get why people want to short it. But you might be a little early. JP Morgan, they made their quarter. They made their year probably with the way that they sold puts the last couple of weeks and told everybody to unload all their stock at the lows. Things that aren't bearish. It's over the highs. And it held it again. 132s. Got to be careful. Let's wrap it up with oil. Let's get into solar. Man, I don't like to be an antagonist to people, but I'm like, you can't short solar if oil and gas are kind of looking strong. Meaning trending higher. Oil and gas names too, right? Because it's the market. The market's very comfortable, clearly, with the blue Senate win. I said I don't think I would short solar yet, and there's a reason. I don't think it's ready. So that doesn't look bad. Like, that doesn't look bearish to me. I know it's a gap in a doji. We'll see what happens. ENPH holding high and tight. Getting added to some S&P ETF. I can't remember. Probably, man, or is it the Qs? Someone knows. Someone always knows. I don't care. Man, I'm not probably going to short it, but I'm watching for solar. Sedge talked about this piece of junk. Popped on earnings. Things that aren't bearish for solar. Itching. And it's not because I have athlete's foot. I am itching for the 164s. Check it out on the monthly. I talk about this all the time. You are so close to the 50% fib and a monster volume at price point, inflection point, point of control, whatever you want to call it. Every day. Hey, I'm going to short for solar. Okay. Well, that close is not great, but it's also like, need more information. If you see for solar, 164. It's also the fib extension. Interesting. You got it. Oil, gas, let's end it on that. USO, again, I hate really charting this thing, but man, if you bought it below 72 or 72, not bad. It looks like it's trying to build the base. I mean, this area of support, we've talked about, it's probably going to go up to 80 at some point. Congrats if you sold it too before the election. Like we told you to sell and take profits and started adding back. Because if this ends up turning into a rocket, you're welcome. I expect lots of celebration and oil parties. You're like, oil parties? What does that mean? I don't know. Parties based off profits and oil. How about that? UNG, it's making a base, making higher lows. This action is interesting, right? You would think this thing would like just pummel down, take it lower. It just seems to find a little bit of base. We'll see. A lot of people, I mean, there's a lot of, I wouldn't say conflict. There's a few people in the Discord room who have their opinion that they think this is not going to work. This is where sometimes the smartest people aren't always right. Big inventory draw on API reports 500 if you haven't seen. I can look at that right now. Isn't that one usually after the close or in the afternoon on Tuesday? It's not showing up on, for some reason, on briefing. Yeah, so a big draw. I'm not surprised. We talked about this, right? Like, there's going to be a big draw. Right? We got to fill the SPR now. Election's over. Congrats to the left. We thought there'd be a red wave. Didn't happen. Looks like a red ripple. We'll see. Again, we don't care really ultimately. We just, certain things will do better. I just think oil and gas prices are not going to go down under the blue regime. XOP, congratulations if you've been holding this. Talked about the 20-day. My man Drew, hopefully if you're listening, you got your gusher. You're trading around. This thing moves. You got 180 to 20 whatever. Probably can go a little higher. I personally think, and I've said this before, this gap will fill. It's just a matter of, do you make new highs? Do you make new highs? Trade around your position. It's strong. Like, don't be quick to dump losers. Oh, awesome. Thank you, bro. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to know. I personally trade around it. We talk about, okay, here's Buffett buying more Oxy. Not oxycodone, but Occidental. It's an Occidental mistake. 20-day bounces back. Was the OPEC reduction in demand forecast kind of a buddy pass? It's kind of funny. It might be. We might find out later it was. We'll look back and laugh and go, ha 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 ha. Yeah. ExxonMobil holding up. Said 116 is the monthly channel. You can see it up there. High and tight. High and tight. Stocks that are building up, holding up, not breaking down. PXD. Nailed this one. Sucker. Now I know people are like, what are you talking about? Talked about yesterday buying it and started positions in like 257s. Came back down the 20-day and said, give me that. And it said, watch what happens if it closes over today's highs. Did anyone see the close? I did. Hi. Someone was buying the crap out of it in the last 10 minutes. Hi. That's what you want to see, dog. Did I say dog? Yeah. Okay. So, on that note, I'm going to stop the recording. I said, here's you. 270s, maybe 280s. Again, I like this. People hate these stocks because they have crappy options. They're very illiquid. I get it. But if you get them at the right price, they start moving because this is moving points. You buy 10 options and this thing moves $10, you know the price, you know the profit, 10 grand. That's the kind of stuff we're looking for. Lose a 1 or 2 to make 10, 15, 20. All right, going to stop the recording, open it up. What y'all got?
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.